Residents in parts of Victoria's southeast are continuing to be impacted by wild weather, heavy rain and flooding. A moderate flood warning remains in place for the Traralgon River. That was downgraded this morning after some in low-lying parts of the town were told to evacuate for a second night in a row. The Yallourn Power Station's coal mine in Victoria's east has also been evacuated and electricity generation has been reduced following heavy flooding. But more rainfall is expected today. SES State Commander Jackson Bell says they've received hundreds of calls for help.
We're receiving requests for people who need to move to higher ground, as well as other things such as clearing debris from properties, which as floodwaters subside, SES will need to attend to making access and gaining there. We've also got other storm events still occurring across the state, particularly in Trentham. We know that there's a bit more work to occur there, as well as in eastern metropolitan Melbourne, the Dandenongs, with requests for assistance still outstanding for building damage and trees across roads and blocking access still a priority for us.
Members of the Traralgon Football and Netball Club are cleaning up after floodwaters inundated change rooms, the grounds and the stands. The club's president, Kevin Foley, is hopeful but preparing for the worst.
Because the evacuation order was on from yesterday, we've stayed away from the club rooms late yesterday and today, and now that it's been eased, we might be able to go down there. But at this stage, we're waiting on La Trobe City to look over it and to give us some direction.
And the death toll has risen to 2 after the body of a woman was found yesterday. The 20-year-old had been missing for 2 days when she was found in Glenfine. The body of a man aged in his 60s was also found in a submerged car in Woodside, just south of Traralgon, which has seen some of the worst flooding over the past week. Emergency services say those in affected areas will be at real risk for days to come. Reporter Nicole Asher has more from Traralgon.
The Traralgon Creek flowing behind me looks like it's flowing with a vengeance, but this is actually good news for people living around here. The flood warning, the major flood warning for homes around here was downgraded this morning. So yesterday, police officers had knocked on about 300 doors, just warning people that there was going to be an evacuation order, they should leave. Today, they're expected to be allowed home. For many of them, it was the second night spent under evacuation orders. Flooding here on Wednesday night and into Thursday crept into dozens of homes on the other side of the river here, streets around here. People had started to clean up yesterday, but today's flooding and flood warnings will put another dampener on those clean-up efforts.
And we saw all of this devastation, so we just thought we'd get out the car and try and do our bit and clear up.
Down the road from here in Sale, it was a similar story. Police yesterday had spent the afternoon door knocking at there were about 30 homes expected to be impacted by potential flooding. There were also homes in neighbouring Longford where people had received phone calls warning them that if the major flood warning came to be seen, then people might face being cut off from the town for up to 5 days. Now, that major flood warning was downgraded to moderate overnight, so despite the current rainfall and more rainfall expected today, there is good news across this region. In the other direction, the Yallourn Power Station, the mine was evacuated yesterday due to concerns about the flooding there. So we understand that some of the generators at the Yallourn Power Station have been switched off. There's still one at least running and its power is being generated, but it seems to be in a bit of a standby mode almost there. So I think that story will be developing throughout the day as we see just what happens at the Yallourn Power Station. But during the day as well, people will start to come back to their homes in Traralgon. The cleanup will really start to get going, but for many they'll have to wait for their insurers to come out, because until the insurance assessment happens, much of the cleanup has to be put on hold because they need to find out just what needs to be done and what can be done.